Jesse, we've reached that time of the evening. You've taken these jokes like a man. Honestly, I can't believe you allowed these clowns to roast you, but that's your business. I don't have any more zaps for you. I just want you to know that it's been a pleasure watching you grow as a comedian over the past few years. I believe in you, and I love you, and I hope to be outraged by your balcony pissing for many years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason we're all here tonight, Jesse J. Train Thomas!
First and foremost, thank you to everybody who showed up, everybody in the audience, everybody up here. Big thank you, Bottoms Up, for having this, and Ray for allowing it to happen. And real quick, can we, I know we've clapped a lot tonight, can we just get a round of applause for Funny Bone staff, past, present, future? Yeah. You guys don't get nearly as much recognition as you should for working in Richmond's Disney World. That's a massive po-ha that needs to be righted. Oh, for anybody that wasn't there for that meeting, that made no fucking sense. But if anybody there that was there for that meeting, that made no fucking sense. It was an interesting night. Well, first and foremost, I guess I should probably get to these dudes up here. First person, Ray Bullock. You got a round of applause for Ray Bullock for doing this. Doing awesome like that. Thank you so much, Ray. Ray Bullock has been doing comedy for over 15 years, but he just started getting funny next year. I will never, ever forget where I was the first time I heard Ray Bullock's act. You were here at 9:55, and I was in Northern Virginia. I was very loud. But in all honesty, though, Ray Bullock is the godfather of Richmond comedy ever since there has been Richmond comedy. You know, we first met at an open mic at a place called Ramekins, run by Odyssey. You know, it was interesting, but that wasn't the first time I saw Ray. The first time I ever saw Ray was at a show at the Funny Bone called Top Talent Tuesday.
Oh, God.
And Ray went up there and told a joke about the show, My Super Sweet 16, that ended like an episode of Oz. The next day, some Vagina thug wrote us an email talking about how Ray was a heathen and a monster and bald. And I knew at that moment, I like this dude. Everything I'd never wanted to be. Ray's the first person ever allowed me to host a room, middle a room, close a room, and as one of the only people at all three of those shows, my sincerest apologies. Really do apologize for that. They go out of order, I'm gonna fuck myself up, but whatever, we're doing it. Odyssey Michaels is here. Yep, that's right, we clap for Odyssey. Odyssey's real name is Michael Jackson. His career, much more Tito, right? But Odyssey, you know, he created many shows down here. He improved many of them. He ran the first real open mic I'd ever been to, that place at Ramekins. He convinced him to stay open on Mondays. I would be lying if I said I haven't wanted to strangle him. I would be lying. But all the good stuff that he has done for me, both professionally and personally, absolutely overshadows that. When I first started up here, he was the senior statesman. And unlike a lot of senior statesmen, he always had time to talk shop, you know, sit around and bullshit about when I'm playing the fucking Notebook Kazoo and how often I do that. I forgot all about that shit. I need to bring that pickup line back into the rotation, apparently. But I'm actually very touched that he's here tonight. He really did a lot of wonderful things for me for a very long time, and the fact that I wasn't mature enough to recognize that at the time is really a huge regret in my life. It really is. But thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate it. No, man. I wrote one joke for everybody not named Ray. So So, then it's just a bunch of nice shit. There we go. Tom Dustin is here. Tom Dustin, one of my favorite comics. Oh my God. Tom Dustin is a masshole in the truest sense of the word. All right? Nobody that has ever met Tom will tell you that if you cut that man, he does not bleed Boston. Lager. It's a weird place for space. That's my bad. But seriously, like, when I first met Tom, I fucking hated him. I did. I really, really hated you when I first met you. But the second time I met Tom, I fucking hated him. You're an awful human being in many ways, but Tom really is one of the best dudes a guy like me could know. He has always been there and been very kind to me. The first time we worked together was with Kevin Brennan. Brennan was going off about how much of a turd I was, because I probably was. And Tom stepped up and he defended me like we've known each other forever. I love this guy to death. And I would offer you a kidney if I didn't think you'd eventually take me up on it. Firewall to pay for dialysis. Oh, Buzz with 1Z Barton is here. Woo! Buzz is the only cop I know that is more familiar with green room law than sexual harassment. I cannot tell you how many times I have asked myself, why does the host have a longer intro than a guy who's been on HBO? And the reason for that is because Buzz makes sure everybody that steps on the stage of the Funny Bone feels like a fucking rock star. It really is awesome, Buzz. It really is. There is no sound guy in the country better at making a kid that has 5 minutes of comedy feel like they are fucking amazing. You really do a great job, Buzz, and we all appreciate it. Yeah. And on behalf of all the other comics, shut the fuck up after the show started. For the love of God. Jesus, Buzz. Oh. Corey Marshall's here? Yeah. Corey is 33, looks 22, and has the eyesight of 80. The only person in this room that didn't see that coming was Corey Marshall. But, I don't know. Corey is everything I wish I could be. He's whip smart, painfully funny, and one of the honest-to-God sweetest human beings you will ever meet. He combines the best part of immaturity and goofiness, and I love him for that. In the time I've known him, yeah, go ahead, clap for Corey. That's right. He's great. In the time I've known him, Corey has always been the voice of reason. I can't tell you how many times just hearing him go, "Damn, Jay," has made me rethink whatever stupid shit just came out of my mouth.
Where were you when he didn't get to be there?
Corey was on siesta for that one. Oh. Jesse Jarvis is Native American. Yeah. Takes him 4 hours to tell you that. Jesse Jarvis is an amazing comic. When he first started, he dealt with more adversity than any other comic in Richmond. He was misunderstood by audiences and other comics alike. But Jarvis kept coming out, getting up, and getting better, and he's become one of my favorite comics, and also one of my closest confidants. He's a fantastic guy. Without hesitation, Jesse would give you... What the fuck, where am I? Without hesitation... Fuck it, whatever. It's hip to be bear. Without hesitation, Jesse Jarvis would give you his last dollar, the shirt off his back, or the island of Manhattan. He is awesome. I truly believe when he comes into his own, he will go from being the comedian that other comics wanted to follow to being the comedian other comics brag about having met. You really are that good, buddy. I'm really looking forward to that. You're fantastic. Shit, where was it? Oh, well, let's go to Roy, shall we? I live with Roy. Lived with Roy Rogers. I've known Roy Rogers for about 3 years, but I firmly believe anybody that has known him his whole life will tell you he has always had a type of woman. Ashley Holston. Because he was a virgin. Some of them will tell you exploded.
Dude, no is the answer. No. Rerun the roast.
Rewind. Yeah, where are those fucking gems right now, Tom? You fucking dick.
Check your text messages.
Oh man. But seriously, Roy is easily one of the most interesting people I know. Nobody has the balls of Roy Rogers, except possibly Ashley Holston. What I love about Roy is who he is. He makes no apologies about it. Roy will always tell you the truth as he sees it. He has no problem telling people what he thinks. If you don't believe me, check any VB Comics Facebook accounts. Roy smash! Roy says what he feels, and that's what keeps the comedy scene honest. He's helped everybody up here become a better comic, but only if they're bright enough to listen to him. He really is a great guy. Good job, Roy. There you go. Andrew Pauly is up here, one of my best friends. Yeah. I was trying to come up with a joke about Andrew Pauly, and I thought I had one, but Jesse Jarvis wrote it, and we have to be out by 10, so I can't even do that. But Andrew's one of my favorite people in this city. He is one of the mentally strongest people I have ever met. If you tell Andrew Pauly you don't like something about him, you are met with a middle finger the size of the moon. He doesn't care. Andrew doesn't feed you bullshit, and he won't deal with any of yours unless he considers you a friend. He's been solid as a rock for me and a number of others in this room the entire time I've known him. And someday I hope to repay that favor, bud. Thanks for coming out. Oh boy. David C. Wingfield is here, everybody. David C. Wingfield. David C. Wingfield has never paid for sex. Just shipping and handling. But Dave's been one of my best friends ever since the day I met him. He always keeps me in check. For anybody that ever thinks to themselves, why is Jesse saying all that retarded bullshit? Just keep in mind, it would be much, much worse if it wasn't for Dave being like, dude, that's horrible. What? He is the sole reason nobody here has been subjected to the ancient Greece joke. It's funny only to Dave. God, that was a fucking clunker. No, God, no, Buzz. Oh, boy. Derek Rock's in attendance. Derek? What, Derek? For the entire time I have known Derek, he has done the most thankless, unsatisfying, and undesirable job at the Funny Bone. Having sex with Leslie. To be honest, that was my personal favorite one. In many ways, Derek is responsible for me winning my first clash, and a lot of times, far too many times I like to count. Talking to Derek has been the highlight of my evenings at the Funny Bone. And on a personal note, I do hope you eventually sack up and get back up on stage, bud. That was a lot of fun seeing you up there. And, yeah. All right. Oh, no, there we go. All right. Rick Bruner.
Oh!
Yeah. Drunk Lori. Remember that sound from the 50th. I was going to say something really mean about Rick, but I'm a shitty gardener, so I can't really do that. Usually when people have power, they don't like to use it, they just like to show it off. That's not Rick. Like, it really wasn't supposed to be a joke either. Mischose my words. I've never met anybody who has worked harder to make sure that he enhances a comedy scene. He's a big part of the reason I'm standing up here. First time I ever went on stage at Funny Bone open mic night, a long time ago. And I called Rick up beforehand and I was like, hey man, is there a problem with employees doing this? He said, as long as when you get famous, you work my clubs cheap. And ever since then, he has been my staunchest supporter. He's built me up when I've been down. He's smacked me back to earth when I've flown too high. And for the record, no matter what happens, I will always work your clubs for scale. Always. Or for just a condo to stay in. Always. Oh man. Nick Cantone has Burt Reynolds' mustache, Pee Wee Herman's body, and 2003's jokes. First day I ever decided to do comedy, I was told to talk to Nick, and he took me under his wing, made sure my first set was a success. I really appreciate that, bud. He's always been there with sagely wisdom about comedy, life, facial hair. Not all of it takes, but whatever. Cantone and I have helped each other write a number of jokes. He makes my jokes better, I make his dirtier. That's how we do it. And I hope within the next 6 months we're having a roast for you up here, bud, as you leave to go do bigger, better things, spread that good-ass OMG lifestyle. Yeah? I don't know. For 22 years, I've had a younger brother. For 4.5, I've had an older one. Thank you, bud. You're awesome. All right. There's only one other person I really do want to thank. She isn't here tonight, but Maggie Burns was the very first person to believe that I could do this. She gave me the shove and sent me down the path. When things go well, I think about how she was always the first person there. And when things go bad, I think about how she was always the first person there. I take the pink bracelet off every night, but not a day's gone by since I got the first one and I don't wear it. Miss Maggie. So, yeah. You know what, guys? I am all out of barbs. Thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you guys for coming up here. I really appreciate it. Oh, shit. We got shots?
Hey everybody, thank you all very much for coming out to the 955 Club Roast of Jesse Thomas. We appreciate having everybody here. Free donuts in the back. Have a great night. Drive safe.
Make sure you take care of your waitress, everybody, please.
You, Jesse.
Jesse.
Get Jesse in the middle.
Come on, guys.
Oh, yeah. It feels good.
Look at all.
Let Dustin again, Pauly.
That was awesome, guys.
Thanks, bud. I thought it was called Dustin again.